Have you ever wondered how one of the greatest civilizations in human history ruled for more than 3,000 years, only to disappear? Ancient Egypt wasn't just a kingdom, it was a civilization that built monuments so massive that modern engineers still marvel at them. It produced powerful pharaohs who were worshipped as gods, constructed towering pyramids without modern machinery, and created a culture so advanced that its influence can still be seen today. For thousands of years, Egypt stood as the wealthiest and most powerful civilization on Earth. Kings from distant lands admired it. Traders crossed scorching deserts just to reach its cities. Mighty armies feared its strength. Yet despite all its glory, ancient Egypt eventually collapsed. How did a civilization that seemed invincible lose everything? To answer that question, we must travel back more than 5,000 years to the fertile banks of the Nile River. Unlike the harsh deserts surrounding it, the Nile brought life. Every year its waters overflowed, leaving behind rich black soil that transformed the barren land into fertile farmland. Crops flourished, villages grew, trade expanded. The Nile wasn't simply a river, it was the heartbeat of Egypt. Around 3100 BC, a powerful ruler known as Narmer, often identified as Menes, united Upper and Lower Egypt into a single kingdom. This historic event marked the birth of one of the world's first great civilizations. From that moment, Egypt entered an age unlike anything the world had ever seen. The Egyptians developed one of history's earliest writing systems, hieroglyphics. They built magnificent temples dedicated to their gods. They mastered engineering, mathematics, medicine, and astronomy centuries before many other civilizations even existed. Their rulers, known as pharaohs, were not considered ordinary kings. They were believed to be living gods, chosen to maintain order between heaven and earth. Every decision they made carried divine authority. As Egypt's wealth increased, so did its ambition. During the Old Kingdom, often called the Age of the Pyramids, the pharaohs launched one of humanity's greatest construction projects. At Giza, thousands of skilled workers, engineers, architects, and craftsmen spent decades building monuments that would outlive empires. The Great Pyramid of Khufu stood nearly 150 meters tall and remained the tallest man-made structure on Earth for almost 4,000 years. Even today, historians continue to debate exactly how such an incredible achievement was possible using the technology available at the time. The pyramids weren't merely tombs, they were powerful symbols of Egypt's unmatched wealth, organization, and engineering brilliance. While much of the ancient world struggled to survive, Egypt was building monuments designed to last forever. But greatness came at a price. Constructing massive pyramids required enormous amounts of labor, food, stone, and resources. Over time, the cost placed increasing pressure on the kingdom. Then nature struck. The Nile's annual floods became less predictable. Poor harvests led to famine. Food shortages weakened the economy, and local governors began gaining more power while the authority of the pharaoh slowly declined. For the first time, cracks began to appear in Egypt's seemingly unbreakable foundation. The Old Kingdom eventually fell into a period historians call the First Intermediate Period. Political chaos replaced unity. Regional leaders fought for power. The once mighty kingdom fractured into competing territories. To many, it seemed Egypt's golden age had come to an end. But Egypt wasn't finished yet. From the ashes of division rose a new generation of rulers determined to reunite the kingdom. The Middle Kingdom would become one of the most remarkable periods in Egyptian history, restoring stability, expanding trade, strengthening the military, and ushering in a new era of prosperity. Yet beyond Egypt's borders, new enemies were already watching. Powerful kingdoms were rising. Foreign armies were growing stronger, and the greatest challenge ancient Egypt had ever faced was still to come. For nearly a century, Egypt remained divided. Rival rulers battled for power, and the once glorious kingdom seemed destined to fade into history. Then around 2055 BC, a ruler named Mentuhotep II accomplished what many believed was impossible. He reunited Upper and Lower Egypt, restoring order and laying the foundation for what historians now call the Middle Kingdom. It marked the beginning of a remarkable rebirth. The government became stronger. Agriculture flourished once again, thanks to improved irrigation along the Nile. Massive construction projects resumed and trade routes stretched deep into Africa and the Middle East. Egyptian merchants returned with gold from Nubia, cedar wood from Lebanon, ivory, incense, and exotic animals from distant lands. Wealth flowed back into the kingdom, making Egypt prosperous once more. Unlike many earlier rulers, the pharaohs of the Middle Kingdom invested not only in monuments, but also in the welfare of their people. Canals were expanded, farmland increased, and literature blossomed. Many historians consider this one of Egypt's most stable and culturally rich periods. But prosperity often attracts envy. To Egypt's northeast, new groups of people were migrating toward the Nile Delta. Among them were the Hyksos, a people whose origins are still debated, but who likely came from Western Asia. At first, they arrived as traders and settlers. Then everything changed. Around 1650 BC, the Hyksos seized control of northern Egypt. For the first time in centuries, foreign rulers occupied part of the kingdom. The Egyptians were shocked. The Hyksos possessed military technology Egypt had rarely encountered before. They introduced horse-drawn chariots, powerful composite bows, improved bronze weapons, and new methods of warfare. Egypt's armies were completely unprepared. Many cities surrendered with little resistance, and the Hyksos established their capital at Avaris in the Nile Delta. Southern Egypt remained independent, but the nation was once again divided. For over 100 years, the Hyksos ruled northern Egypt. Yet instead of destroying Egyptian culture, their occupation transformed it. The Egyptians studied their enemies. They learned their military tactics, they adopted their weapons, they built their own chariot forces, and they patiently prepared for revenge. That opportunity finally came under a prince from Thebes named Ahmose. Determined to drive the invaders from Egyptian soil, Ahmose launched a series of relentless campaigns against the Hyksos. After years of fierce fighting, the foreign rulers were expelled. For Egypt, it was more than a military victory. It was a national awakening. The experience convinced Egyptian leaders that waiting for enemies to invade was no longer an option. If Egypt wanted to survive, it had to become an empire. This marked the beginning of the New Kingdom, the greatest era in Egyptian history. Egyptian armies marched farther than ever before. They conquered Nubia to the south and extended their influence deep into Syria and Canaan. Gold poured into royal treasuries. Captured cities paid tribute. Trade flourished across 3 continents. No kingdom in the ancient world rivaled Egypt's power. During this extraordinary period, some of history's most famous pharaohs ruled the land. Among them was Hatshepsut, one of the few women ever to rule Egypt as pharaoh. Many doubted her ability to lead simply because she was a woman. She proved them all wrong. Instead of pursuing endless wars, Hatshepsut focused on prosperity. She organized a legendary trading expedition to the mysterious land of Punt, bringing back gold, incense, ebony, rare animals, and valuable treasures. Under her leadership, magnificent temples were constructed, including the breathtaking mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahari, which still stands today against the cliffs of Luxor. Her reign became one of peace, wealth, and architectural brilliance. Yet after her death, many of her monuments were deliberately defaced. Her statues were destroyed. Her name was erased from inscriptions. Someone wanted history to forget she had ever ruled, but history had other plans. Centuries later, archaeologists uncovered the truth, restoring Hatshepsut to her rightful place as one of Egypt's greatest rulers. Even greater conquests were still to come. A young military genius named Thutmose III transformed Egypt into the most powerful empire of its age. Often called the Napoleon of ancient Egypt, he led at least 17 successful military campaigns. His armies crossed deserts, climbed mountains, and captured strategic cities across the Near East. Victory after victory filled Egypt's treasury with unimaginable wealth. Never before had Egypt controlled so much territory. Its borders stretched farther than ever, and its influence reached lands hundreds of miles beyond the Nile. To the ancient world, Egypt had become unstoppable. But beneath the surface of this golden age, a storm was beginning to gather. One future pharaoh would make a decision so controversial that it would shake the very foundations of Egyptian civilization, and the consequences would echo for generations. One of the most controversial rulers in Egyptian history came to power around 1353 BC. His name was Amenhotep IV, but history remembers him by another name, Akhenaten. Unlike the pharaohs before him, Akhenaten rejected centuries of Egyptian religious tradition. Instead of worshiping the many gods of Egypt, he declared that one god alone should be honored, Aten, represented by the sun's life-giving rays. Temples dedicated to ancient gods were closed. The powerful priests of Amun lost their wealth and influence. Statues of traditional deities were destroyed. Even the capital was moved to a brand new city built in the desert. For thousands of years, religion had united Egypt. Now that unity was shattered. Many Egyptians refused to accept the changes. Political tensions grew. Foreign allies received less attention, while Akhenaten focused on religious reforms at home. The empire that previous pharaohs had spent centuries building slowly began to weaken. When Akhenaten died, Egypt moved quickly to erase his legacy. The old gods returned. His monuments were dismantled. His name was removed from official records. It was as if Egypt wanted to pretend he had never existed. His successor was a young boy. Today, almost everyone knows his name, Tutankhamun. Although his reign lasted less than 10 years, he restored traditional religion and attempted to reunite the kingdom. Yet his greatest contribution came long after his death. In 1922, British archaeologist Howard Carter uncovered Tutankhamun's tomb almost completely intact. Inside were more than 5,000 priceless treasures, golden chariots, jewelry, weapons, furniture, and the famous solid gold burial mass that has become one of the greatest symbols of ancient Egypt. The discovery amazed the world and reignited humanity's fascination with Egyptian civilization. After Tutankhamun came one of Egypt's greatest warrior kings, Ramesses II. Known as Ramesses the Great, he ruled for more than 60 years. He led massive military campaigns, fought the famous Battle of Kadesh against the Hittite Empire, and commissioned enormous temples and monuments across Egypt. The temples at Abu Simbel remain among the greatest architectural achievements of the ancient world. Under Ramesses, Egypt once again displayed its wealth and power. But even the greatest kings cannot stop time. As Ramesses grew older, new dangers emerged beyond Egypt's borders. Around 1200 BC, mysterious invaders known today as the Sea Peoples swept across the eastern Mediterranean. Entire civilizations disappeared. Great cities were burned. Powerful kingdoms collapsed almost overnight. Although Egypt managed to repel several invasions, the victories came at an enormous cost. The treasury was drained. Trade routes collapsed. Agricultural production declined. Maintaining a vast empire became increasingly difficult. Without a steady flow of wealth and tribute, Egypt's economy weakened. Corruption spread through the government. Powerful priests and local officials challenged the authority of the pharaoh. Civil wars erupted. Foreign powers watched closely as Egypt's strength faded. Over the following centuries, Egypt was invaded again and again. The Assyrians conquered it. Then the Persians seized control. Although Egyptians occasionally regained their independence, the days of empire were over. Then in 332 BC, a young Macedonian king arrived, Alexander the Great. Unlike many conquerors, Alexander was welcomed by many Egyptians as a liberator from Persian rule. He founded the city of Alexandria, which quickly became one of the greatest centers of learning in the ancient world. After Alexander's death, one of his generals established the Ptolemaic dynasty. For nearly 3 centuries, Greek rulers governed Egypt, while adopting many Egyptian customs. The last ruler of that dynasty would become one of history's most famous women, Cleopatra VII. Brilliant, multilingual, and politically skilled, Cleopatra fought desperately to preserve Egypt's independence. She formed alliances with Julius Caesar and later Mark Antony in an effort to protect her kingdom from the growing power of Rome. But history was moving in another direction. In 31 BC, the forces of Octavian defeated Antony and Cleopatra at the Battle of Actium. 1 year later, Cleopatra died. Egypt became a province of the Roman Empire. After more than 3,000 years, the civilization of the pharaohs had finally come to an end. So why did ancient Egypt fall? The answer wasn't one single battle, or one terrible king, or one invading army. Its decline happened slowly. Economic struggles weakened the kingdom. Political divisions fractured its unity. Religious conflicts created instability. Foreign invasions drained its strength. Trade declined. Climate changes affected harvests. Each generation inherited a nation slightly weaker than the one before it, until eventually, the empire that had once seemed eternal could no longer stand. And yet, ancient Egypt never truly disappeared. Its monuments still rise above the desert. Its temples continue to inspire millions. Its hieroglyphs still tell stories carved into stone thousands of years ago. Its discoveries shape mathematics, engineering, medicine, architecture, astronomy, and government in ways that still influence our world today. The Great Pyramid remains the last surviving wonder of the ancient world, a silent reminder of a civilization whose ambition reached beyond its own lifetime. Empires rise, empires fall, but legends echo through time. If you enjoyed this journey into one of history's greatest civilizations, subscribe to Echoes Through Time and join us as we uncover the forgotten stories, legendary empires, world-changing battles, and remarkable people who shaped our world. Because history is never truly gone. It's simply